In the US, the appeal of used cars has gone down with the introduction of convenient leasing programs. However, Statista.com reports that over 40 million used cars are still sold and bought annually in the US compared to the 13 to 15 million new car sales. Interestingly, a chip shortage during the pandemic and reduced supplies of new cars have reignited American interest in the used car market. Most used cars in the US are now bought from dealerships. These include both certified pre-owned vehicles and cars sold without any warranty. However, it's well known that dealership prices for used cars aren't the lowest. Sometimes a 2-year-old car with 20 or 30,000 miles can be found on a dealer's lot with a price tag almost equal to that of a new car. The dealer's argument is simple: a used car is available right here and now. Pay cash or get financing, take the keys and leave the dealership with the smile on your face, driving your new car. It all sounds very straightforward, but this type of purchase carries more risk than mountain climbing without safety gear. That's why in this video I want to tell you about 3 ways to buy a car directly from another owner. Please note, when buying a car directly from another person, you must be aware of all the risks. Often such cars have serious technical issues which may be the reason for their sale. The owner is unlikely to tell you the entire history of the car and point out all its flaws. And if you're planning to buy a car directly from the owner, make sure to have a specialist help you inspect it. At the very least, take the car to a service station or a dealer and pay $100 or $2 for a diagnostic check. So if I wanted to buy a car in the US for a lower price, I would use one of the following methods. But first I want to say that you won't get a good car for a really small price. If the offer is too good, you should check the car very carefully, no matter who offers it to you or how convincingly the seller talks about the advantages of this vehicle. The first method is to buy from acquaintances or relatives. Yes, there are many drawbacks to this approach and you might even end up damaging your relationship with a friend. However, there are advantages too. At the very least, you know the car to some extent, its history, any accidents it may have had or complex repairs. You can also gauge how meticulous the person is with their belongings, how well they maintain the car and whether they change the engine oil on time. Sometimes such a purchase can be very beneficial. Of course, it all depends on the terms and the reason for the sale. But if your friend has already bought a new car, they might offer you a good discount to get cash in hand and avoid selling their old car to dealers for a fraction of its market cost. But remember, if you're buying a car from a friend, that doesn't mean it shouldn't be checked. There is nothing wrong with asking your friend to take the car to a dealer for a full diagnostic. Don't forget that when buying a car directly from the owner, the rule is simple: you get what you see. Once you've paid and taken the keys, the warranty ends. It would be inappropriate to make claims against your friend if the car breaks down 2 days later. The second method is searching on online platforms. Be aware, if you simply Google "buy a car from a private seller", you won't find valuable sites with real offers from private sellers. You will end up on sites that collect listings from various dealers and offer you filters and sorting for convenient selection. The prices on these sites are far from pleasant and you will see more ads than real information on your computer screen. So to find offers from private sellers, you can go to auction sites like eBay or smaller regional platforms. Cars are also often sold on forums. Finding such offers isn't easy, but sometimes the price difference compared to dealers can be more than double. Of course, such cars need to be very carefully checked. I recommend using a VIN check from a paid service like Carfax or AutoCheck. This way you can get plenty of information about the car's mileage, repairs, accidents and other facts that are worth knowing before making a purchase. The third method is to ask a car owner if they want to sell their vehicle. On average, Americans own a car for about 7 to 8 years. Usually, thoughts of selling the old car and buying something more modern start around the 5th year of ownership. Among car owners, many are dissatisfied with their current vehicle and constantly thinking about selling it. A friend of mine bought several cars at very favorable prices this way. You can simply approach someone in a supermarket parking lot and ask if they are planning to sell their car. You can leave them your phone number in case they decide to sell it soon. The advantage of all three methods is that you can negotiate. The price initially stated by the seller is based on the average dealer price for a similar car. But you can explain that if the owner goes to the dealer, they would get nearly half the money, whereas you can offer a better price. Don't forget, buying a used car always involves risks with the paperwork. I strongly recommend buying cars only with a clean title. Also, make sure the owner has all the necessary documents for registering the car at the DMV. The title should be signed by the owner and handed over to you. You also need to create a bill of sale and sign it together. There are also specific requirements in different states that should be taken into account. But the best approach is to take all the documents, the car itself and the owner to the DMV and prepare all the necessary paperwork under the supervision of an officer. This will help you avoid any unpleasant surprises when buying a used car. In my upcoming videos, I'll talk about how to inspect a car on your own when purchasing, how to examine a car at a dealership, and I also regularly release videos about the technical aspects of car operation. Subscribe to the channel, there is a lot of interesting content ahead.